So this is going to be more of a generic-esque video going into the first week of March. Next week we are going to hammer out those details about, there are what, 30 decks I need to talk about in the current format. I'll go into a little bit more detail with that. So as long as we get some likes on this video, we're going to start our journey on probably Sunday, actually, for that entire metagame series. So hope you guys are looking forward to me talking about every viable deck in the format. So we're going to start today's video off with kind of the prelude to this, kind of to set things up, and just the generic know-how of what you're going to need to know before you go playing in some events. So let's dig on into part 1 of 7, shall we? Alright, so for this video we're going to be talking about engines and things that are everywhere. First up is danger. Hey, I'm in danger. So, everything that you need to know about the danger engine is, it is massively unfair. Droll and Lockbird is going to be your Lord and Savior in this matchup. And, I mean, honestly, going forward, cool shit. Like, Droll and Lockbird's fantastic, it's great. Ashing the inappropriate target will blow you out. Ogring the Saruja doesn't feel bad some days. Ogring the Summon Sorceress also doesn't feel bad. Depending on the variant that is using the danger engine. I mean, like, if it's Danger Thunder, I'm in danger. If it's fucking, I don't even know what the other, Danger Orcust. Oh my god, the Orcust engine is so good right now. The danger cards are massively unfair. Like I said, you're going to use Droll and Lockbird to slow them down. It's really about the only thing you can do. Oh, you can Azathoth your opponent. That feels bad, man. Like, it's kind of interesting right now because the Danger Engine is one of the craziest draw engines that we've ever seen in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I didn't actually think that printing the effect that says draw 1 on 35 different cards, and by 35 different cards I mean, look at the world deck, look at the crazy stuff that we had at YCS Chicago. But evidently, you know, draw, and being able to make Boral Sword and kill your opponent. Thanks, Ed, for showing the world that we can do some crazy stuff because of the Danger Engine. Yeah, but it's not unbeatable. Winning dice rolls feels really good. We know that. We know that the whole Danger format is pretty terrible. But yeah, having a bunch of cards that all functionally say draw 1 is pretty crazy. And it's one of the biggest things you're going to need to know in this format. Now, next up on this equation is Orcust. Now, the thing that's making this deck so good right now is any 2 monsters makes Nightmare. Alright, Nightmare goes into Mermaid, which is also a Nightmare. You discard a card, you special summon the other Mermaid, or you summon the Orcust Nightmare from your deck, and then you start doing Orcust things. Now, the Orcust engine itself is, it does 2 things in the current format. You either use it to make Azathoth, which then again stuns your entire opponent for a turn. Your opponent's like, seems to be the general consensus I'm getting out of these videos right now is these engines are all leading to one ultimate thing. Or you can build link spam with it. Being able to climb into a Boral Sword, put another monster on the field, does you wonders. Now, typically, the Danger Engine is being played with the Orcust engine, and the Orcust engine is budget. Everybody can have access to it. The downside is cards like Saruja, cards like Boral Sword Dragon are going to be your expensive pieces. If you are playing going forward here, you need to understand that the Orcust engine, while in small representation, is a very big threat. What this engine does as soon as it starts, it's crazy. I've heard people be like, you hold the Ash for the Mermaid, but you have to understand, the deck is going to do a lot of other things before we get to the Mermaid. And it is crazy. This is what happens when you combine 2 very good engines together. Even though the Orcust engine is like 5 cards, it's very stupid. So be aware right now that the Orcust engine as a whole is really doing a lot. Now, the thing that kind of brings these all together is Azathoth. And we actually, this was strange, because coming out of Chicago, I would have been damned had we saw more Azathoth decks. Being able to rank up on your opponent's turn and make Azathoth is great, but they tried to make the rank up, I think, a little bit fair, because they included the text of you can only activate in your opponent's main phase. Now, under current rulings, turn player, which is, so you end your turn, you have the rank up set. I go into my turn, I maintain the first action. Everybody's playing Denko Sekka at the moment. Kaijus exist. Sphere mode exists. It's not that unheard of right now to just remove the issue that your opponent's trying to do. Or you can also Twin Twister the rank up spell card in the standby phase, and your opponent can't do anything about it. Like, what are they going to do? Chain it? Oh, wait, they can't, because it says main phase 1. Azathoth was a big issue coming out of that event, and it's interesting because it started to become checked when Salamangreat came out. It was like a lot of people were trying to play this as a going second meta, but we shifted very far out of that extremely quickly. And I think it's very interesting that that actually happened, because Azathoth and Kali King Yugioh were both doing abusive things for the beginning there. And then when the format gets a power shift, like Salamangreat coming into it, you just see how these pieces kind of get shifted out. So yes, be aware that unfortunately we have an engine in the current format that can deny you the ability to play the game, and nobody really wants that. It's kind of sad in the most part that it does exist and it's not banned, but we'll get that fixed right away for you guys. Right, Konami? I love you guys. Do your best. Now, there are a lot of decks trying to play the concept of going second, and you just can't do this anymore, especially for March. February, Chicago, you would have been fine to bring a going second deck. Actually, you probably would have had success. You know, Calvin Tahn showed the world that you would be good. I think, honestly, let me scratch that. Going second at a YCS level event is incorrect. Going second at a regional level is absolutely fine at this moment. You just have to understand that you can have a lot of things happen to you on a going first board. Your opponent can set up disruptions like it's their job. You know, the standard Salamangreat board of ending with the Heat Leo, the Icarus attack, and the Solemn Judgment. Those are things you have to. That's kind of why going second right now is kind of hard, because yes, you do get the extra resource, and that's great and dandy, but Salad just does so much. And it's a shame, because it was really cool to see that going second finally had a place in the metagame. You know, we'd finally gotten to the point that going second was the best thing that you could have done for a format. And then it all changed when the Soulburner structure deck came out. People realized that, hey, going first is great. I mean, Azathoth was fantastic for going first. You know, it did a lot of things, but going second was just this place where you would break your opponent's board. Now, you can't break their board because they've got a castle strapped to their head, and it's so big that you can't penetrate it. Now, obviously, hand traps can get you there, but, I mean, that's for another day. But yeah, going second decks, I'm sorry, they've definitely gone to the wayside. And I'll talk more in depth about the specific going second decks, because some of them aren't terrible at the moment. Some of them have had success, even. But the trend of going second has really gone down. Now, the last thing I want to talk about here is playing your hand traps correctly. Mistiming a hand trap will cost you the game. And I think you guys heard me say this earlier, that if you ash the incorrect thing, or if you ogre the incorrect thing, or if you droll and lockbird at the wrong time, it can cost you a game. So if you're holding droll and you're like, oh man, this is going to win me the game, and you fire it right away on a danger player, well, you had no other follow-ups, I have bad news for you, because danger can still OTK you with the given hands they have. And it's really crazy, because I've seen people see the buzzer knows. The buzzer's like, that's game. Or excuse me, it's time in the round. All right. So as your opponent is putting these large monsters on the field, you know, like Droll and Lockbird was one resource that you had. It's one that's gone now. Hand trap timing, I don't think it's ever been better, especially in a format like this. Now, if we had Maxi, obviously you would use Maxi as a catalyst to draw into more hand traps. But we don't have that. And if you brick on too many hand traps, well, I have bad news for you. The rest of your hand's going to be unplayable. I think it's kind of some of the problems I've seen in this format. So, ugh. But, yes, the correct use of hand traps has never been more crucial, especially in a format with Danger or Cust. As a thought, you know, especially if you're going second deck. I can't stress this enough. If your entire life purpose is to go second, then Jesus, come on, guys. You need to learn how to play your hand traps correctly. Right timing in the matchup, bad timing. But I guess the old mentality of you live and you learn is very important. I just don't want you going to a regional going round 9, be like, oh, it's worked for me all day, and you do it and it causes you the game. Like, you have to psychoanalyze why certain things are going to be better for you in some situations. That's all I got for part 1, guys. Obviously, these things will change. These things will be different for you depending on the situation that you're going for. Give it time. Learn from these. I think these are very crucial things to learn at the moment. But yeah, please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Someday my raspy ass voice will return to normal. Alright guys, I'm out. Peace. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a truffle shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out Vanquil40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.